Hi folks, I'm Steve Hindy for Shark, Showing Animals Respect and Kindness. On July 12, 2016, a Shark team working with the Animal Legal Defense Fund took one of our Angel drones to Fresno County, California. We were there to have a look at the Harrass Feeding Company in Coalinga. If you've driven on Interstate 5, you may have seen this massive facility, although your nose probably alerted you to it well ahead of your vision. Here are some comments from people who have driven by the Harrass Feeding Company. I've never driven through such a smell like this. I've smelled sewer better than this. Drove by here the other day and was surprised to find such a disgusting place in California. This entire ranch should be fined, condemned, and shut down. I've been around plenty of cattle ranches in California, Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan, and never, ever have I smelled pure feces like this nasty place. Set your car vents to recycle so you don't let the stench of the cattle yards into your vent system. My car still stinks when it gets hot. We had been flying from public easement on government-owned property for just a short time when a Harrass vehicle parked a short distance away from us. Then another arrived. Soon, a California Highway Patrol vehicle arrived. When the officer got out of his car, he went to the Harrass guy without hesitation and shook hands. Regardless of the Harrass Feeding Company's stench, it apparently has plenty of pull in Fresno County. When the officer approached us, there was no handshake.
How are you today?
I'm all right. Hey, I got called out on notification that you're on private property, which isn't necessarily true. But you're on state property right here, which is the waterway.
Oh, okay.
And no one's allowed on this property, so I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
The officer told us we were on private property and that we would have to leave, a claim which would soon be proven to be nonsense. When the ALDF investigator tried to talk some sense into the cop goes to an old standby.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, you have your ID with you?
It's in the truck. Would you like me to grab it for you?
Yep.
Yeah.
We would hear that a lot on this day. Everyone wanted to know who we were. Meanwhile, the guy from Harrass took lots of pictures. When a Fresno County Sheriff's deputy showed up, he also went straight to the Harrass guy and the two shook hands. Seems the Harrass guy is right popular with the police. The county cop asked for the ALDF investigator's ID, then everybody's ID.
May I see your ID?
Yeah, absolutely.
May I see your guys' ID as well?
More and more police showed up. It looked like we were the only thing that was going on the whole Central Coast. But weren't all these cops needed elsewhere? We knew that we were on public property, and we knew we were doing absolutely nothing wrong. But lots of cops stood around and tried to figure out how they could pin something, anything on us. Then came the real show. An officer who, despite the extremely hot summer desert temperatures in California in July, was so ridiculously overdressed, I thought I might be hallucinating from heat stroke. Apparently, she felt she needed all that gear for her big mission, which was to take pictures with her phone. It came as little surprise that with that getup, the officer had more than a little attitude.
May I ask what you're going to do with the photos?
Well, it's to identify you guys that you're here trespassing.
No, officer, we're not. But we won't hold our breath waiting for an apology when you and your badged brethren finally figure it out. Finally, a couple supervisors showed up who apparently were not subservient to the Harrass folks. One seemed genuinely surprised about all the hubbub over nothing.
Is it just a drone? That's all it is? Are you guys filming?
They told us what we already knew, that we were not trespassing.
So yeah, I'm good with you guys parking there as long as the equipment can get by.
Okay, sure.
And this is clear because
Sure.
we don't know what
to be
equipment's
in and out. Okay, yeah,
and that
absolutely.
way, and it keeps you off the shoulder. You don't have to be that close to traffic.
Okay,
I
perfect.
think that makes sense.
So why all the nonsense? 7 cops in total from both the California Highway Patrol and the Fresno County Sheriff's Department spent lots of time in the middle of nowhere for absolutely no reason. To the surprise of no one, it was the Harrass Feeding Company people who were behind it.
I think the only reason we were called is because there was a start of a little bit of argument between you and Harrass employees. So.
I didn't think there was any argument.
Did they come by?
They stopped here for maybe 45 seconds to a minute.
Soon, all those police were headed down the road. The next day, we decided to return for just a few more shots on what should have been an uneventful day. Then the first police car showed up. Listen carefully and you can clearly hear what the Harrass guy says about the property we're on.
That's state property.
That's state property. Please remember this, because the cops are going to claim they don't know who owns the property, even though they're told it is government property by the very guy who's pulling their strings. When the cop came to talk to us, we tried to explain that we had already been through all of this, and we heard what would be the recurrent theme of the day.
I wasn't out here yesterday, so I heard
Correct.
you guys were out here flying.
These cars.
I wasn't out here yesterday, so
No, I understand that.
okay. Like I say, I wasn't out here yesterday, so I don't know all the
Entire process
Like I
again.
say, I wasn't out here yesterday, so I don't know.
When we realized that there was no avoiding a rerun from the day before, we decided to have some fun with our new friends from the Harrass Feeding Company.
Well, guys, while we're waiting for the more police, you want to come on over here? We'll give you a lesson, maybe give you a sales pitch. You might want to buy one. I mean, it beats standing there sticking with your hands in your pants.
Meanwhile, more and more police were showing up again, and they seemed to be having a good time with the Harrass folks again. One of those cops even had the last name of Harrass. The Harrass guy seems to be the one giving the orders to the cops. We were left wondering why these Harrass people were so intimately involved in what was allegedly a police matter.
You see, and then the police wonder why the public doesn't trust them.
Right,
When they suck up to the money boys here.
right.
And then they wonder why people,
Have problems with law enforcement.
yeah.
I have not been able to establish yet who owns this land.
A cop claims he doesn't know who owns the property, but remember, we went through this a day earlier, and on this very morning, the puppet master from Harrass told them who owns the property.
That's state property.
Facts notwithstanding, the police and the Harrass people looked over documentation under the hot summer sun, apparently figuring that if they looked long enough and hard enough, the power of positive thought would guide them to success. With the absurdity of the situation becoming so painfully obvious, we started to express our opinions to the police.
Sure.
Well, no, we don't think it's you, but look, when you have 4 police cars out here, when there were 6 police cars, when there were 6 police cars out here yesterday,
was called on a separate one.
then it starts to look like harassment. I have to tell you, it starts to look like harassment.
Any way you want to take it, sir.
Well,
The true intention of the police was nakedly obvious when I asked Officer Harrass if this police misconduct was likely to continue.
Going on.
I mean, so
Okay.
could this happen every single day?
It could happen every single day, sir.
All right, well, maybe we'll come back every single day and try that.
Yeah.
I like
good.
it.
We'll see what-
The police, running out of any options to continue their siege, came back with one more tactic, the dreaded picture-taking session, again.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
I do mind. I
Okay,
mind
I mean,
everything.
you're taking pictures with me,
I
it's
mind
only fair.
everything that you're doing.
Yes.
I'm following the law.
Am I doing
I
anything
think
against the
you're
law?
bending over for these guys over
Officer,
here.
it makes me very, very uncomfortable that you've several times walked up to these farmhand guys and had my license.
Since the police were there to check out our Angel drone, we decided that it should be mutual, and we put the Angel up to check them out. Finally, at long last, the police admitted, again, that we were legal, and they headed on down the road. As he left, the old Harrass guy did a little wave. Right neighborly of him, don't you think? The Harrass Feeding Company is part of the Harrass family of companies. Part of that family includes the Harrass Restaurant, which is located just a few miles from the Feedlot. The restaurant claims to provide an expensive, fine dining experience. With these pitiful animals raised in such deplorable conditions? After what I've seen, the Harrass folks couldn't pay me to eat there. I'm Steve Hindy for Showing Animals Respect and Kindness.